Okay. Are we good? We're live. Fantastic. All right, let's get this puppy rolling. Hold on one segundo. Un segundo, por favore. Okay. All right, we are live. What's up, guys? This is it. Sorry, I literally like right before I got live, right before I went live, I got a message. I was uh, like it was about 8 seconds before we went live. I got a very important message that I'm just gonna it can wait. It can wait an hour. That's okay. I will handle that. Wow, that was like, huh. Also, if I'm a little bit like shaky today, I'm literally shaky because I am on I every 6 months or so I try and do a water fast. So I have not eaten since Tuesday. Um, I probably won't eat until Saturday. Just kind of like water, some salts, some I've got some, let's see what we got here. We got zero sugar sweet tea, you know. So, well, every 6 months or so it's a nice little challenge. It's good to train yourself, right? It's good to train the mind, train the body because the first day you're just starving. The second day, you're not really hungry, but you're just shaky and weak because your body's like, "Where's all the carbs, bro? What's going on here?" You're going to keto, and it's not that fun. It's more like boring, you know. That's the one thing about fasting. It's just boring, right? Like I'll go outside and I'll see an awesome restaurant, and they'll have this beautiful wall of just delicious looking fish and chicken and meats and rice and what, and it's just like, yeah, no, I'm just not allowed to eat it for the next few days. What's up, Joshua? Good to see you, dude. Good to see you. I'm glad you've been coming back. It's very appreciated. What's up, Sean? GM, how's it going, lads? Happy it's Thursday. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, Kings. Mean it. I'm glad you guys are tuning in. It's very appreciated. And thank you, Joshua. Seriously, dude. Very much thank you. All right, so we're gonna hop into things here. All right, pull it up. Let's go. Let's get things rolling. Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna start with I want to play this because I actually, some thread guy clips I'm super on board with, and some of them not so much. This one I am totally on board with them.
You should move through the world flirting with everybody that you meet.
That is that that is absolutely right. You absolutely should flirt with basically everyone you meet.
Male or female. You should move through the world harmlessly flirting with every person you meet in every interaction you find yourself in, and life will just be better for you. I genuinely believe this. If you walk through life and you have the mind brain to flirt with everyone, the barista, the server, the waitress, your Uber driver, male, female, the person you meet at the store, the person in line. If you flirt with every person that you meet and you walk through life with a smile, and I'm not like saying insinuating sexual connotation, but if you are relatively attractive and you walk through life flirting with any and everything you possibly can, your life will just attract abundance and be better.
It just makes people happier, right? Like if you go up to someone, you're like, "Hey, how's it going?" and whatever. You're just kind of dull and dead. It's just it goes nowhere. There's no real conversation. There's nothing really happening. It's just a dead interaction. But if you actually are, if you're fun to be around, if you actually try and make someone smile, you crack a joke, you're like, "Hey, how's it going?" You razz them a little bit, some light teasing. All right, light. We'll call it light teasing, nothing crazy. All right. People actually, one, it's just like, little dopamine hits throughout the day. It's nice to smile. It's nice to see people that are happier. But two, you would be surprised how many doors it opens. The number of people where you start a conversation with them just because you're, having a little, being a little nice to them more than they usually would see. They all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, by the way, did you know that my family owns this and I would love for you to come to this? Like your vibe, come through." Happens, like at least once a month you'll get something like that. And it's actually life-changing type events show up just through random things like that that don't happen if you're not just going through life literally flirting with everyone. Incredible tape. Incredible take from Thread Guy on this one. Like, it might sound a little weird, so I can understand the hesitance in saying, oh, just flirt with everyone. But it's legit. It's absolute fact. Schwad, we're gonna get to the Zcash in a little bit, like give it 5-10 minutes or so, because I wanted to just get to some of the tweets about it and get into some of my opinions on it. But that is very interesting. I think Zcash will continue to exist, but not in the form of momentum it once had. We'll get to that. Capsha, what's going on, dude? GM, good to see you, my guy. Good to see you. Some returning listeners, guys. We're getting somewhere. Oh, that's so funny. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. Is there any more to this clip? No, there is not. That clip's done. All right, let's keep things rolling. Yeah, dude, this is like, I was having a conversation. This guy's really come a long way since rugging Moonbirds. Sorry, I'll just try that one more time. Like, my English is not with me today. This guy's really come a long way since rugging Moonbirds. We're talking about Ryan Carson here, all right? Like, I've met the guy. He seemed like a nice dude. Many moons ago, it was 2022. Yeah, 2022. Ryan Carson. He didn't rug Moonbirds, but he effectively rugged Moonbirds, right? Like, it was part of that team. Left, I think, the day after they minted, and then Kevin Rose ran it into the ground. He was clearly over his skis. There seems to be some kind of culture in San Francisco. I can't explain it, and it really gives me like a very weird vibe. I really can't understand what's happening there. There's a culture in San Francisco where people like to say, you know, if you fail, it's okay. Just fail and move on, move quickly, ship fast, right? Like, that's the whole concept. And that's okay. It's okay to fail. And that's totally reasonable. But for whatever reason, as humans love to do, and especially in tech, we like to push things to their ultimate extremes. And it's like, oh, you can fail quickly and absolutely devastate people in the process. Just do something that no one thinks is actually going to succeed. Ignore all other opinions, fail in the process, and then just start up like random other things and just completely ignore your past as if it never happened. Happens all the time. Like Ben Pasternak with Believe. What happened there? That's classic SF culture. Dude is literally making millions of dollars, dating a hot Asian girl in San Francisco, and then just launching products that people don't really like. It's unclear what's actually going on. And then after 6-7 months of it not really doing well, just cut and run. Like, it just disappears. You've never seen him again. It basically happened with Ryan Carson. Happened with Kevin, whatever, from Moonbirds, and they just disappear. It's shocking. It's like, what is the driver for these people? Is it just money? Because they'll go on the internet and talk ad infinitum about how much they're here to change the world, how much they're here to build product market fit, to listen to consumers, to build the next big thing. That's what they're here. That's the whole idea. That's the sell. And then they just disappear the second it doesn't work. And then they just go try something totally different in kind of an adjacent field. Now Ryan Carson is building like his own AI coding. It's just like, dude, what are we doing? You know, and I respect this idea of, yeah, go try something new, ship fast, build something new, whatever. I love that. It's great. And that has led to massive technological improvements. It's great. It's a good thing. But at some point, it's like, how many people are you going to completely just build companies, destroy them, build a company, destroy it? Like, it's Play-Doh. Anyway, Schwad, let me see. By the way, you can see, I see you. I can see you. You can see. Fiji, good to see you as well. Schwad, I'm going to get into the Zcash stuff in just a second, actually. Let me just see. We got to, you know what? Let's skip some of it here and go straight to it. I'll just go to Mert. I'll go to Mert's account. So I'm actually not the most informed person on Zcash. I'm just going to open up with that, right? Like, that's not, Zcash is not It's not my absolute number one priority. I don't really care about it that much. I do think privacy generally speaking is something that we should be absolutely striving for, like across all kinds of finance. It is kind of a tragedy that blockchain has no form of viable privacy right now. Maybe Zcash, maybe Monero, but even then, those can, with enough effort, you can kind of crack those, right? Like even Tornado Cash, if you're moving an amount of money that is substantial enough that someone should care, right? Like if you're moving $1 million through Tornado, it's probably trackable, right? Like it can actually, there's a reason why Zach XBT is able to do what he does, because there are ways of tracking anonymizers or through washers, especially when you're moving size. So there's still plenty of concern there. But let's see. Let me find the initial. There were some posts this morning that were very interesting. Okay. Oh, no, that's. Oh, geez. There was actually a lot more than that. Hold on. We're going to find it. We're going to find the. Dude, how many tweets does Mert put out in a day? Dude, get off Twitter. I'm still scrolling. I'm only 7 hours ago, 8 hours ago. How far do I have to go just to get off today? Okay, this was okay. All right, cool. Finally. Okay, let's see. So this was the initial tweet. Zcash just lost its core dev team. The entire electric coin company team behind Zcash resigned all at once. Here's the story. And then dives into it. Okay, ECC original developer behind Zcash. Let's see what else. Board now. Okay, so there's a dispute. ECC developers resigned after a governance clash. CEO called it a constructive discharge. I will say that is phenomenal terminology. There are some things that you see in corporate speak. Constructive discharge, dude, you have to just write that down, bank it, and just use it for anything. You know how it's like it became a meme that, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just increasing shareholder value. Dude, the next time, like if I break up with a girl, the next thing I'm going to say, oh, I just had a constructive discharge with my ex. Like what? Oh my God, I'm making a sandcastle. If making a sandcastle at the beach is increasing shareholder value, breaking up with a toxic girlfriend is a constructive discharge. That is phenomenal. Oh my God. Constructive discharge. What a term. Phenomenal terminology. I love when people in corporate world, right? In the corporate world, just make up words to make it look more professional. Like, dude, you just fired him. You fired him. You got rid of him. You cut him loose. It's a constructive discharge. Damn, that's hilarious. Board members naming the dispute. Okay. The entire team chose to watch. So this is definitely Mert. I saw Mert talk about this later. This definitely feels like AI slop. Instead of compromising their mission, the entire team chose to walk. Like AI loves to do this, right? AI loves to paint a story, loves to paint a vision where it's more grandiose than it needs to be. And it likes to break up their sentences. AI likes to break up sentences into, instead of this, they did that. It's not this hyphen or M dash. It's this. And it loves to make these, juxtapositions. So you can definitely see that here, that this is probably just AI slop. Zcash protocol itself is not affected. Yeah. And just random emojis for no reasons. And that's what I'm saying. This is this, not that, right? Like a juxtaposition. This is clearly AI slop. So take whatever you're going to take from this. Just know you're reading at like actual AI slop. But the markets immediately repriced the risk. Dropped 14%. That's crazy. So regardless of what you think about whether or not this whole thread is basically BS, because it probably is. I mean, it's AI slop. It's clearly mischaracterizing, exactly what happened. It's just whatever. I'd call it a big nothing burger. The price is the price, though, right? So what did it hit? It hit like $700, right? I think it went up to around 800, and now it's trading. I think it's currently under $400, right? This I'm pretty sure this is like the screenshot is not accurate to the current price. So is Zcash just not bullish anymore? And it was just the last. I don't know. It was the last runner of the market. That's it. It was just the last market. It was the last runner in the market. You had Mert shilling it. It was clearly, this is why I dislike Zcash. The reason why I dislike Zcash is very simple, okay? It's not because of these BS threads that no one really cares about. The reason why I dislike Zcash is because it paints itself, or the people that talk about it paint it as the purest cyberpunk token, right? Like that it's privacy. It's fighting for, maybe arguably a better Bitcoin. It's fighting for what we want in crypto, right? Like that's the idea. That's what people want: privacy. They want autonomous, anonymity, or autonomy, as well as of their own finances, right? They don't want the government looking in. They don't want people from down the street looking into their finances. They want control over their own money, and they don't want anyone else to have anything to say about it. And all these cyberpunk ideals, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, the way that it's being shilled, the coordination around it, and the people that are shilling, it's so obviously just like a corpo shill. And that's all it is. That's all it is. So even if it has the ability to do the things that people who are shilling it say that it can do, I don't really care as much, because it's so clearly just corporatized. And there's interests here that are not cyberpunk. And when you hear things like, oh yeah, they're shipping fast, like that kind of terminology doesn't really apply to the cyberpunk ethos, in my opinion. It doesn't. Actually, even, what's his name? Even Vitalik said the same thing the other day. He was like, look, if we try to take Ethereum down the route of, okay, we're going to compete. We have to ship fast. We have to decrease latency. We have to do some biz dev. Like, that's not the cyberpunk ethos. The cyberpunk ethos is, even when all of the other alternatives have died, even when everything else has gone down, Ethereum will still have that 2 second, it's 2 second, it's not 2 millisecond, it's 2 second latency. Even though it's going to have that latency, it's still going to be there. And that I'm good with. And yes, optimally, we could get that down, right? Like over time, we go from 2 seconds to 1 second and so on. Yes, I get it. But that's why I'm so kind of off put by Zcash, because it's like, I just don't trust it. The way that it's being shilled, the people that are shilling it, it's like, I can tell that there's so many ulterior interests at play. Like it's just about sending the price up. It's not really about what's like the underlying tech. Where's the conversation about Monero? Clearly, that like the VC shill isn't there, but you look at the people that are actually trading that need privacy. Guess what they're using? Say what you want about Nick Fuentes. The guy uses Monero because he couldn't use other forms of banking or whatever. That's a pretty good shill. It's hard to compete with that. It feels off. Something feels off. But let's see. What happens next? AI emoji. Yeah, whatever. It's crazy to me that people just see this. I mean, in fairness, this is great. This is a great bait post here. And here it doesn't immediately feel like AI yet, but at this point, it's clearly just AI slop. It's a good overall, we'll say, like, recap of what happened, but it's just AI garbage. It really is. Let's see what Mert had to say on this. Yeah, there were a ton of big... Yeah, exactly. Capshow, spot on. I remember how big accounts said to buy this when it was pumping. Yeah, that's what they'll say, right? Like, It'll be $800 and clearly blow off topping. And they're like, by the way, it's not going to stop at $800. It's going to 10,000, right? Like, and in fairness, you have to say this, right? You have to say this to anyone that's full shilling Zcash at this price right here. Exactly. When it was pumping hard. When they're shilling here, there's two sides, right? There are two wolves inside of you. On one hand, I feel some level of anger or at least frustration with the people that are shilling Zcash at this price, who are smart, right? Like, if you're someone who's supposed to be smart and reputable in the space, you should know that this is a really dangerous place to be shilling Zcash. But at the same time, the other wolf is like, well, if it's at $600, if it's at $700, $800, and I say, yeah, it looks like a fair price about here, no one's going to buy it at $600, $700, $800. And the crater that will follow is brutal. So you have to, realistically, you have to be unbelievably bullish. You have to have the unbelievably bullish people in an ecosystem that's saying, oh, Zcash at $800 looks like a buy because it's going to $10,000. Because if they say that, right, like if there's no one saying it's going to $10,000, who's buying it at $1,000? Who's buying Zcash at $1,000 when it just ran from $80? Thinking it's going to go to $1,100. Maybe a perps trader on 20x leverages, but certainly not just someone buying spot when they're trying to get 5% increases on a move that's already gone 1,000%. The risk reward is just not there. So you have to have people shilling at just absurd, like silly levels of shilling. Otherwise, it just doesn't happen. Like, what's the point? Why would you buy? So that's the two wolves, right? Like, I get it. On one hand, those shills absolutely frustrate me because I know you're just leading the lambs to slaughter. Just leading the sheep to the leading the sheep to the butcher house, saying, oh, look, it's lovely in here. It's warm. It's nice. We have fields of grass. And just absolutely just butchering all of them, just brutally and eviscerating all of them as they come through the doors. Because at $700 to $800, like, I refuse to believe that these people thought that at $800 Zcash was a good buy. There's just no shot. There's just no shot that at $800 you log on, you're like, yeah, that's a good buy for sure. No, what you're doing is you're selling to potential exit liquidity because if you ever stop selling, the whole thing goes out from under you. It's the same deal with Michael Saylor. If he ever flipped bearish, it would be like, dude, you're the bull. You are the only person. So that's how it goes. I think Zcash made a mistake in its ecosystem, was developing steadily, and many projects were being built on top of it. Without those concessions, it could have continued to grow and evolve much further. Interesting. Let me just see. What else did he say? No one quit. In fact, the team size increased. Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, Mert is now shilling it to $10,000. From $80 to $10,000 in a year, like, no reasonable, rational person believes that this is going to $10,000. No one believes it, including himself. Like, there's no way that Mert actually believes it's going to $10,000. But if he doesn't say, like, he's the guy carrying the banner. Okay, if you're going into war and the guy on the front line that's carrying the banner is like, guys, I don't really know about this, bros. Like, this might be the one. I don't know. Like, maybe we should back off. You are not running into battle behind the flag bearer. Okay. So if Mert is not saying $10,000, no one's going to sign up for this war, right? Like, no one's going to go buy Zcash if he's not saying 10 grand. There's no way that he actually believes it, though, right? Like, there's no way that Mert is waking up, and he's a respectable individual. He's smart. There's no way he believes it's going to 10 grand. No shot. but he won't ever say that. And he probably shouldn't. Probably shouldn't. Let's see. Anything else I should know about this? By the way, now that the main tech entity, ECC, has transitioned from nonprofit foundation to a labs entity, this means the FUD around dev taxes will also reduce since they can now make money through shipping. Interesting. You know, I've noticed this too. There's a trend going on with a lot of tech companies, namely after OpenAI started to do it, where a lot of the nonprofits are like, "Oh my God, we could just be making money." Like, wait, hold on. Why don't we just make money? Because it makes it so much easier to get investor capital, right? If you go from being a nonprofit to a for-profit, investors can finally get involved. That's probably what happened here, right? Like they transitioned from a nonprofit to a labs entity so that they could get investors and so that people could actually put money into it and help them build out privacy. The one interesting thing that no one's really talking about when it comes to privacy. Hold on, let me pull this up. Hester Pierce, privacy. Yeah. Let me find this. Hold on. Check this out. This is Commissioner Hester Peirce, right? Commissioner Hester Peirce from the SEC gave a speech on privacy and financial surveillance on December 15. I've not seen anyone talk about this. Maybe because I was in finals and I just missed it, but she talked about this. Basically, that we should have expectations of privacy in our financial lives, right? Because we've had kind of a degradation of financial privacy as you give a lot of information and to banks and custodians who, at the request of the government, have to give it off. And it is actually pretty cool to see Hester Peirce, which, by the way, Hester Peirce might be the most goated and reasonable commissioner I've ever seen of like any government body. She is a killer. She knows what she's doing and has fantastic opinions, like fantastic, reasonable opinions is what I should say. She talks about cryptocurrency specifically. I don't think she mentioned Zcash. Let me just see. Zcash. Yeah, no, she doesn't mention Zcash, Monero. Obviously not. That would be a little silly to mention it specifically. But she does mention them. All right, she does mention privacy and crypto, which if you're talking about privacy and crypto, that's it. You're talking about Monero and Zcash. And hopefully one day Tari, I don't know if people talk about that enough, like Fluffy Pony and the guys over at Tari and Naveen. I think there's something there, and I do want to do a little check in there. Zero knowledge proofs, right? Like there's something here. There really is something here in privacy, technology, and crypto. And one of the biggest scare points is what is the U.S. government going to say and do about it? And to see the U.S. government, or at least an official within the U.S. government, Hester Peirce, speaking positively upon it in ways that actually make sense to us, that's exciting. That is actually cool. That's cool. We'll see if this is one of those things where it's like she is saying it, but she is just one person. I really hope that this isn't just lip service. And I doubt it from Hester. I believe that she is actually working towards it, or at least thinking positively upon it. But, I wouldn't be shocked if in like 3-4 years, nothing comes out of this and we don't get it. So at this point, I'm not getting excited about these types of conversations as of yet. But once it happens, like if we actually get any kind of legislation on this, that would be phenomenal. I don't think clarity really speaks on this, right? Like I don't think current legislation that we have speaks to this well, but one can hope. One can hope. And it's good to see that it's actually being considered. It really is good to see that this stuff is being considered and being considered deeply. But I just don't believe it until I see it, This, if anything, this would be the most bullish thing that Zcash or Monero or whatever could see. Like if we actually get real legislation that promotes this stuff, rock and roll. But until then, it's just kind of like we'll wait and see. Schwab, thanks for the compliment, Schwab. I appreciate that. I do my best with these streams. All right, I'm doing my best. I hope you guys enjoy them. It's actually fun. Like for me, this is it's a vibe. It's fun. It's kind of like I really do enjoy doing this. So thanks for tuning in. It means a lot. Let's see. Is there anything else from here from Mert that I should go through, or should I get back to the some of the bookmarks? Let's see. Yeah, no. I mean, Zcash is impressive. It's hard to say not. That's the problem. It's like Zcash actually does have some quality stuff around it. You know, you do have builders like Kane building on Zcash. It is actually genuinely, it's a genuinely interesting protocol, right? And that they are shipping. Like there is new tech coming for Zcash. There are things to be excited about. It's just I can't stand the corporate shill that it is, that it's become. Like it's supposed to be cyberpunk, and it's just it doesn't feel that way. It feels like I'm being shilled more than it's Hyperliquid, right? Like even Hyperliquid feels more communal than Zcash, and that's crazy to me. I want Zcash to feel communal like Bitcoin, but it doesn't. It doesn't feel like that at all. I want it to feel like Ethereum. It doesn't at all. It feels corporate right now. The way that it's being shilled, the way it's being talked about, I don't understand how they can't see this. And maybe it works for now. Like, really, maybe it works for now. And maybe it just works, period. Maybe that's how it should be shilled. But I just don't like it. Like, it makes me feel off about it. And maybe that's why I'll lose money not trading it, right? Like, it's hard to explain. Anyway. Okay, so that seems to be about it. Let me see let's get back to some of the bookmarks. If you guys have any thoughts or questions or whatever in the comments, please feel free. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, and I also want to hear what you guys think about what we're looking at. We're gonna keep going through some of these bookmarks. What I like to do on these streams is I like to kind of just pull up my bookmarks and give them a scroll and just talk about some of them. But yeah, let's see. This one I saw, I want to get to this because I saw this. I could not believe what I was looking at. Welcome to 2026. You know, started in 2025, and now that it's 2026, it's absolutely going absurd. We have the Chinese embassy. This is a government account with almost 330,000 followers, posting AI slop of a animated eagle dancing in front of a microphone.
Oh no, it's happening again. China built something great, my friend.
It's a song. Oh my God. What?
And grab your news, mic, cue the drama talk. Breaking news, another China shock. Oh, EV, solar, future tech. Great ideas until China checks. When we lead, it's progressed. Wow, when China leads, it's over capacity now. Built it better, built it.
Dude, what are we talking about? Like, we have the Chinese embassy making an AI slop song, which is, by the way, kind of a banger. Like, I'm actually enjoying the song. What am I watching? What? 1 million views. Unreal. That's crazy. And like, the amount of international individuals posting about this stuff is crazy. You have Gustavo Petro, who is the president of Colombia, posting an AI image of the eagle being America and a jaguar. That is a jaguar, I believe. A jaguar hanging out with an eagle. And it's supposed to be Gustavo hanging out with the U.S. Like Trump, I guess. This comment's amazing. You're bearish? The president of Colombia is posting pictures of himself and Trump as animals. And you're bearish? Phenomenal tweet. I only expect things to get weirder. They're just going to get more bizarre over the course of the next few years. Like, I would not be shocked. It's actually, how have our representatives, how have the politicians of the world devolved to this? It really is the AI super cycle. It is just eating everything. You have the president of Colombia posting himself as a jaguar, snuggling up to the eagle that is Trump. And then on the flip side, you have China, like the Chinese embassy, posting an eagle and a song.
Breaking news, another China shot.
Like, what are we talking about? What is politics? It's just it's a weird game, man. It's a weird game at this point. Speaking of weird games, dude, I just want to comment on this because, you know, I grew up on Call of Duty as a younger kid. There is no way that this is zombies. I'm just going to turn off the audio. This is zombies. This is what Call of Duty has devolved into. This is the garbage that they've given us. What have they done to us? He's running in circles, literally just running in circles with a gun that's apparently not running out of ammo. Just like, how is this fun? What have they taken from us? At some point, certain games and certain franchises maybe just need to die. Like, if this is where Call of Duty is going, dude, it's just a tough watch. It really is just a tough watch. There's no way this is fun. There's no way this is a fun time. Oh, and that's only level 21. Like, people are supposed to get to the 40s and 50s on these levels. I can't. All right, let's keep going. Oh, I'm going to have to get to this. Oh, actually, I do need to get to this right now. The official account of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services posted what appears to be a brand new food pyramid from the government, which is actually pretty cool. Like, this is, if I want the government to be saying anything, promoting healthier options, kind of a vibe. There is one thing that you guys have to do. I would suggest that you guys check out this website. I would suggest that you check out, this is an official website of the United States government, right? realfood.gov. And it's actually promoting, actual healthier options from the U.S. government. Who would have believed it? Healthier food from Burgerland. The new pyramid. All right, that's what we're talking about. Protein, dairies, and fats, vegetables and fruits, and the bottom of it, smaller amount, but whole grains. I will say this, though. Have you ever, I got to get to the bottom here. You come to the bottom of realfood.gov. Again, this is a government website. So if you use the arrow keys, you can kind of go back and forth, right? Like, eat real avocados, tomatoes. I'm able to go back and forth. That you could hear the keys. I'm typing this, right? Flip through some of these. I don't know if you guys have ever seen an Easter egg on a government website, but there is one here, okay? If I just start speeding up the pace and start going faster and faster and start spamming it, who's that? Is that Bobby Kennedy? They threw in a Bobby Kennedy Easter egg into a government website. And why does he look like a Sith Lord? What's going on here? Welcome to the United States of America. I say as I drink an energy drink. That's hilarious. Unbelievable, though. Unbelievable. We'll keep things rolling. Yeah, there's not that much going on today. Let's see. Oh, I got to talk about that. Yeah, this is what I was saying with the Zcash stuff. I saw Serpent comment on this as well. It's just obvious. But, that's how it goes in crypto, right? Like, some of the obvious stuff really does just pump out of its mind. Like, the market will tell you what the market likes. And if you fade it just because out of your own personal biases, it's probably a mistake. And my personal biases say, like, Zcash is a corpo shill, right? It's very clear. It's not like a bootstrapped effort. It's not, this homegrown thing. Maybe it used to be. Right now, clearly, it's become corporatized. And you're even seeing that whole ECC thing was literally about like a group of developers moving it from being a nonprofit to being a for-profit, where they now have investors and VC interests in developing for Zcash. They move from being a nonprofit to being a for-profit, not because of bureaucratic, issues. Let me actually talk about that for a second, because that's just a total mischaracterization. What does he say? Bureaucrats or something? BEA? No, hold on. What does he say? He says something about bureaucratic. I got to see this. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. There you go. Official news. Josh is the CEO who built Zashi and is behind the ECC. He has now transitioned the company from a nonprofit with a bureaucratic Karen board into a shipping machine fully focused on Zcash. You know what probably happened here? This is purely an assumption, all right? This is my opinion and speculation. Only take it for what you will. They transitioned from being a nonprofit to being a for-profit company, which means that they can now take serious investment. And Mert probably invested in that. And it may have been a bureaucratic Karen board. That may have been accurate. But the other side of that story that he's not saying is that they could take investment. And now there are special interests that have invested in it, that want a return, that want money out of it. And they also want Zcash to do well. So yes, it may have the added benefit for sure of actually being a productive thing. Like that's the benefit of venture, is that you create productive companies. You make productive companies and you help build out ecosystems. That is legit, right? Like that's what happened with Solana. But as we know, like it would just be nice if we could be, not a little bit transparent, right? Just a little bit. I know that's not in the spirit of Zcash to be transparent. In fact, that's exactly the opposite of what Zcash wants. But it would be cool. I just wish when people were shilling things that they'd be like, oh, by the way, I have an interest, right? Not only in Zcash, but also now probably the ECC, because they don't switch from being a nonprofit to being a profit for like a for-profit company just because they just feel like it or to get rid of a bureaucratic Karen board. It's because they want to take in money. It's because they want to take in venture and other investment funding so that they can build more stuff, which is true, and build more productive and viable and actually useful things, right? And help out the ecosystem. I'm not saying anything wrong about that. I like capitalism, okay? But it's not just to get rid of bureaucratic, garbage. It's because they want to make money. So that's why it's like, and if you call this out, it's so frustrating because if you call this out, they're like, oh, dude, what? You just hate capitalism? And it's like, no, I don't hate capitalism. I just like a little bit of transparency, And I like how you're only sharing the one side, yet the one side of the benefits is, oh, yeah, we're getting rid of the bureaucratic garbage. The other side is we're going to get filthy rich. It's, like, don't talk down to me, man. I know what I'm reading, all right? And I support it, okay? I am totally fine with the ECC and other tech companies going from being a nonprofit to being for-profit. I'm for it, I think it's just generally a fine thing. And I think investment, generally speaking, is something we should be looking for. And yes, nonprofits have their space, right? Like they have their purpose. It's just funny. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. We'll talk about the one side of why it's a beneficial thing. We'll not talk about all the other more financially driven things. Right. And this is why it just feels weird. This is why people feel off about Zcash. Because people are not stupid. They can read and they could see, oh yeah, it's not just getting rid of a bureaucratic board. They switched to a for-profit company. Anyway. Let's go. Let's keep things rolling. What else we got? Let me pull up my bookmarks. No, that is not my bookmarks. Hold on. There it is. Okay. Oh, this is absolute must talk about stuff. Oh, yeah, I've got plenty of bookmarks. What am I talking about? We got plenty to get through. Let's respond to this.
I'm telling you, man, 2026 is.
Okay, hold on.
Sorry, year. It literally is. You cannot fuck 2026 up. It's impossible. Realistically speaking, this feels like one of the years that could change your life. And not every year feels like that. Most years don't feel like, this is the fucking year. Like, this is the year where if I do everything right, I'm retired. My kids are retired.
I got to stop him right here, dude. I really do. I like Gainsey. I like him a lot. I just think it's kind of funny that his thing with streaming is he just opens up the camera and he's like, You have to manifest. You have to manifest your victories. They're all great. They're coming. You just got to lock in, you know? Keep clicking. He says it maybe 18 times a week. It's like kind of hilarious. If you just watch Gainsey long enough, he just says the same things, but I like him a lot. And I honestly, at some point, that's kind of the way to do it. Like if you're not manifesting to yourself over and over and over again, who else is going to do it? So I respect Gainsey for that. You know, he turns on the camera and he goes, just lock in. This is your year. And he says it every week. And you know what? If he wasn't saying it, like, at least there's some positivity there, you know? It's this, like, accepting that today is the worst it'll ever be, and it can only go up as long as you keep trying. And I like that, you know? But, man, that is, it is just so funny. You just watch Gainsey long enough, and it's just, oh, it's Tuesday, January 9th, 2038. I'm going to log in 2038, and Gainsey is going to be talking about how it's his year. It's like... It's been 20 years, Gainsey. When is it going to be my year? And it's going to be the 1st January of the brand new year. And you're just going to hear this.
Their kids are retired. This year feels like it has that capacity for whatever reason to me. It feels like a year where you can just lock in and win.
That's what I was saying. All he likes to say is lock in. And you know what? He's got a point. He does have a point. Lock in and win. That is it's actually that simple, you know? Lock in and win. And if you're not saying it, who's going to say it? So as funny as it is, and as much as I am making fun of it, respect to Gainsey, all right? Respect to him. That is an extremely positive mindset, and I think more people should actually adopt this. Like, this is actually a good thing for people to hear, in my opinion.
Which is why it's really unfortunate that I see, like, I don't know, 80 to 90% of my timeline talking about politics.
I got to say, okay, I enjoy the political discourse, okay? I really do. I find it interesting. I find it fun. We're going to do a live test, all right? Let me just go home. Okay. Crypto, but more like crypto content. Politics. Crypto. I have no idea what is that? What is that arm flexibility? All right, that's bizarre. Politics. Crypto. Politics. Arc Raiders, God bless. Politics. Crypto. Like that's just, I would like to see a little bit more crypto, to be honest. Like, why am I okay, well, in fairness, I do want to talk about the Greenland stuff. That's crazy. Also, why am I seeing Ralph Lauren dropping a legendary Team USA jacket? Like, why is this on my feed? I don't care about Ralph Lauren. I don't care. I mean, it's kind of a fire jacket. Dude, actually, that is kind of a really fire jacket. I might buy it. But, like, I don't follow this. Why is this on my feed? Get it off my feed. How do I get rid of this? Whatever. I don't really care that much. More politics. And then, like, a random wolf. Cute pull. It's very cute. It's adorable, right? Like, oh my God. That is actually a crazy video. Oh, but it's just AI generated. Tough. Yeah, I was going to say, like, this doesn't... Yeah, and that grab is weird, yeah. Anyway. Like, I'd like to see more of the CT stuff, but it's just... I don't know. It really is just all politics. Yeah, there more politics right here. Politics. Not politics. We'll talk about that.
A is for apple.
Apple.
Politics. All right, that's more politics. That's Oh my God. That's so funny. That's funny. All right, let's keep things rolling. But yeah, hold on. I want to finish this.
And 2026 is our year, which is why it's really unfortunate that I see, like, I don't know, 80 to 90% of my timeline talking about politics. Like, the vast majority of my timeline completely baited by Elon Musk. You're all acting like stupid monkeys, and don't get me wrong, it's not as though I disagree with Musk. On most issues, I might even agree with him. It's just I'm not going to tweet the same shit because, one, it's not productive. Two, it removes all of the alpha from your timeline.
That is true. That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part about engaging in any kind of like political or cultural discussion. If you even so much as start, if you just say, oh, I think this is interesting, you're cooked. Your timeline is absolutely fried. It just gets thrown into the mass algorithm. All you see are politics. It's done. And people like to say, oh, just use lists. Just use following, and curate your following. It doesn't work. The For You algorithm is the best algorithm X has. It just is. It provides the best tweets in a pretty, a reasonable order. In my opinion, it's definitely the best. But if you so much as go anything outside of crypto, it stops giving you useful crypto information. It just stops because it wants to feed you the tweets that are going absolutely bonkers viral in cultural reasons, right? Because those are great rage bait. They're great rage bait comedy. It's perfect. And everyone cares about politics, at least to some extent, right? Like some level of culture is interesting. But God forbid you like a post. God forbid you say anything on Twitter that isn't crypto. Your timeline's cooked. Just absolutely slammed.
Start tweeting about politics, any like race baiting, any of that shit, you lose all the crypto. It goes, your whole timeline becomes bait.
Yep.
And it's all stupid bait. It's all unproductive. No good will come of it, quite literally. It's complete trash. And then you become part of the problem. You become part of the reason other people lose crypto on their timeline. Everything just turns into bait. Like, look,
I wonder, I really do wonder if this new algorithm is not slowly, like very quickly killing off significant portions of CT, especially right now. You go into bear markets, right? And you could see followership counts are actually very indicative of bear and bull cycles. When Bitcoin is hard pumping, the larger accounts on crypto Twitter will be growing. When Bitcoin slows down or starts retracing like significantly, you'll notice that the follower counts start growing much slower, if not shrinking. It's very consistent. If you look historically across, if you want to do like an index of the big accounts, you'll see that that's the case. So yeah, like socials slow down tremendously in a bear market, which we're very clearly in at this point. And on top of that, you have an algorithm that's pushing everyone into the normie, literally AI normie political cultural slop. I'm seeing more clavicular on my timeline than I'm seeing, thread guy sometimes. And I couldn't give less of a shit about I can't even speak today. I couldn't give less of a crap about clavicular. I don't care about him. I don't care what he has to say. I'm completely out on him. Like, I think his whole mystique is garbage. But I've seen so much of him on my timeline. I've been force-fed it. Then now I actually have an opinion on something I don't even care about because I've seen so much of it. It's just brutal, right? Like the entire X algorithm is absolutely brutal right now. Really frustrating to experience. And maybe it's like one of those things where the product guys in SF, you don't hate these guys enough. They're just creating these things that maximize user attention, but I kind of hate it. I don't really like the algo right now. I have some interest in politics. I do want to see politics. I do want to see some of the cultural stuff that's going on. I want to see some of it. I also want to see crypto. I really do. And I could say that. I could scream it into my phone. Hopefully the microphone on my phone is listening. I could scream it there, and it just doesn't matter. It really just doesn't matter. It doesn't help. Thanks, Joshua. Appreciate it, dude. Let's keep things rolling, though. Let's keep things going. Bookmarks. Okay. Let's get back to crypto for a second.
Yesterday was at...
I want to respond to this.
I started this account 4 weeks ago with 100 grand. And just for reference, it's at like 420 now. Yesterday was at 800. This is not, like at the peak it was 820. So this is not even reflecting properly. But
dude, what are perps traders, dude? This looks fun. It looks fun to just do this. It really does. Like, there is a piece of me that wishes I could just give everything up, close my eyes, and just trade perps and be a successful perp trader, right? Like being an unsuccessful perp trader is not glorious. It's not cool. You're a loser. But to be this guy, right? To be Ponzi trader, you trade perps. Oh yeah, bro, I just ran up an account. It's a fresh account from 100K to 800K. Now it's back down to 400, but we're still, up. We're clearly cooking. Oh, dude, it's glorious. Much respect to Ponzi, dude. Like the guy's an animal. The guy is absolutely killing it. But man, and this is it. He's selling a dream. Like Ponzi trader, we need Ponzi traders, right? We need hyper profitable, cool dudes that also know how to speak and can convey that, like, hey, this is profitable if you know what you're doing. So that we have other traders that come along. And God bless, dude. But wow, perps trading is a different animal. It is a drug. And how, I wonder if you could actually be a normal, well-adjusted person if you make like this much money,
But I'm trying to get it to a million in the next like 3 days. So I'm kind of like jamming in this spot. So yeah, I think I'm long like 11 mil.
Thread guy's face. I'm trying to make $1 million in 3 days. And he's like, oh my God. You could see the visceral pain and just absolute just bewilderment on Thread guy's face right there. Stunned. He's stunned. That guy, that is flabbergasted. That is what the face of a flabbergasted individual looks like.
Like 400K in collateral. I started this account 4 weeks ago with 100 grand. And just for reference, it's at like 420 now. Yesterday it was at 800.
Also notice he's doing this on NATO. He's doing this on NATO. I've heard of NATO only as of this week. This is Ink's perp platform, right? Like Ink Chain. That's their perp platform. I didn't know this. Apparently NATO is basically owned and operated by Kraken themselves. Or at least like the team that runs Ink runs NATO. So it's basically a Kraken sanctioned perp dex. Well, maybe it's not a dex, but like a perps platform. I don't really know. I don't know much about it. But if you want to farm Ink, which seems to be one of the more promising upcoming tokens because it's supported by Kraken, this is how to do it. You do it through NATO. So yeah, man, I mean, props to Ponzi trader. He's making hundreds of thousands of dollars in days and also farming NATO. That's unbelievable. That is really just spectacular. Man, it's just like, dude, I'm spending, it's crazy because you go online and you see Ponzi trader here making hundreds of thousands of dollars in days. And it's like, I went to undergraduate school. I went to graduate school, both online and a second graduate school right now that I complete in a few months. And I have to take a bar exam, right? Like I've got so much that I have to do. And he's made more money in the last like 2 days that I might hope to make in a couple months, or excuse me, in a couple years. More money in the last 2 days than I could hope to make in a couple years at this point. And it's just like, he went from 100 grand to 800 grand in like a week. All right. Oh my God, that's unbelievable. Do I have a thought on this? Kind of, but I'd rather spend more time thinking about that. Let's see. Yeah, this is insane. SBF. Apparently, news is coming out that SBF is not really likely to get pardoned. Apparently, news says that Trump isn't really taking a liking, or at least doesn't care that much about SBF's clear attempt at lobbying for a pardon. Like, he just doesn't really care that much. Maybe in a few years, he might care. But for right now, it seems like it's kind of falling flat. And, dude, if you are SBF, what a generational fumble. If you just didn't commit crime. This is what blows me away about a lot of these criminals. If he just didn't commit crime, he would be richer than God. Like, he would be richer than life itself. It's crazy. It's insane. The guy had a generational opportunity with a lot of these AI, investments. He bought 8% of Anthropic. 8% of a company that's starting to get to the hundreds of billions of dollars. He would have had $20 billion plus of just Anthropic stock alone. That doesn't include, by the way, FTX probably would have continued to grow massively if they hadn't committed massive, basically fraud, and just like scammed all of their users. It's just like, if you just didn't do illegal shit, you would be rich out of your mind. You would have all your like everything he wanted to do if he just did it compliantly. It would have been fine. But he didn't. And now he's in jail. Trump's not letting him out. And that $20 billion investment doesn't exist. And it would have if he just didn't. It's just like sometimes doing things the right way. In fact, basically all the time, you'd hope, at least, doing things the right way is profitable. But greed. EAC, effective altruism, is really just greed. Like, it really is just greed. And it led him so far astray. And I am glad that Trump is not letting that guy out. That guy clearly shows no remorse. Like, it is very obvious that SBF shows basically zero remorse for what happened. Doesn't believe that it was his fault. It's very obvious. And yeah, I mean, we're kicking a horse while he's down, but unbelievable. What else? There was something else. Oh, yeah. Trump, this is one of the craziest announcements I've ever seen from a sitting president, period. Okay. We live in the United States of America. The United States of America is known. It is known for our military industrial complex, right? The MIC. We're known for pumping more money than anyone else by like multiple factors into our military. I think the closest number 2 is China, and I think we more than double China's military spend. Okay? We put so much money into just more guns, more bombs, more things to just win every war possible. That's what we do. That is America. That's how we operate. So when you see Donald Trump, truth, not tweet, he's calling out Raytheon. And he's saying that Raytheon is not allowed to do any additional stock buybacks until they start investing in the United States. That is a very interesting post. When was the last time that you saw a U.S. president absolutely dump on like a military industrial complex company? I can't think of one. I can't think of it at all. Now, I wonder, like, just to be real about things, I do wonder if there's significant pressure that came from, let's say, the Lockheed lobby or, other competitors to Raytheon, whoever that might be. I don't know if that's like Anduril. I don't know if that's Palantir. I really don't know. Maybe there's competing interests that want to see Raytheon fall and the others rise. That very well may be the case. And honestly, probably is. But we're still talking about a sitting U.S. president telling a defense company to invest in America or else it doesn't get to perform well financially. That's insane. That's crazy. Whatever's going on here, this is a must watch because this is not something you see every day. In fact, this is something you just never see. You never see an American company, an American defense company, get made fun of or told that they can't buy back their own stock by Donald Trump, like by the sitting president. It just doesn't happen. So whatever happened with Raytheon, there is a story here. I'm very curious. But there was something else. Hold on, let's see. There was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah. See, like this. Yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about. So I'm 26 years old, right? Like I'm a 26-year-old guy. One of the things that's on my mind and on the minds of a lot of other guys like myself is how am I going to end up buying a home? A lot of young Americans want to buy a home and they want to buy one sooner than later. The first-time home buyer, I think, has gone up into the high 30s, if not to the 40s, right? Like the average first-time home buyer is 40 years old. And we keep hearing stories about how our grandparents were 19, had 18 kids, and bought their first home working, 9 to 5. Like, where one person, right? Like, the guy was working and the woman was, building the family. That's the whole story, right? How? Where did that world go? Where did the one guy working one 9 to 5 job, maybe like picking up a few errands here and there, mowing the neighbor's lawn, getting paid $20 to do so, still able to provide for 7 kids, still able to buy himself a home in a reasonably desirable neighborhood, by the way, with a half-decent school system at the least. Where did that go? Now the first-time home buyer is 40 years old and still can barely pay it. Most kids my age, I'm 26, are just renting, right? Like, we're all just renting, and not just renting, but renting with roommates. And I'll be honest, I love my roommates. They're great guys. Like, I've got no problem with them. I'm very happy in my current living situation. But that's the situation for the vast majority of people around my age. So Trump has taken it on himself. Trump has taken him on him. Oh my God. Trump has taken it upon himself to help kids like myself start having more ability to afford homes. And he said this today. He says let's see. For a very long time, buying and owning a home was considered the pinnacle of the American dream. That's absolutely true, right? That's the whole storyline of the guy who builds himself up, buys himself a home, builds a family. That's what every guy wants. Calls out Joe Biden, classic move from Trump. It is for that reason and much more that I am immediately taking steps to ban large institutional investors from buying more single-family homes. I just got to say that doesn't sound very capitalist to me. I might be like, this might be good for me, right? This might be good for me. But from like an ideological standpoint, that's not capitalism. That's not the free market. You're blocking out large institutions from being able to buy single-family homes, which, by the way, it's like the BlackRocks, right, of the world have just absolutely dominated. I think, like, for example, near Tampa Bay, Florida has been absolutely decimated in the sense that all of the prices of so many houses have just gone through the roof. It's become entirely unaffordable because you have massive institutional conglomerates come together and just buy the hell out of these residential areas. And it's just no one's living there, or at least they're renting them out to single families. But really, it's like, yeah, you're going to rent everything. You will own nothing. You will rent everything, and you will be happy. You will be happy. So, I mean, maybe this is actually a good thing. Like, I'm kind of for this, but this is not a traditionally conservative opinion. This is not traditionally conservative ideology. This is, I mean, it's kind of communist in a sense. Like, we are preventing we are preventing the capitalist overlords from buying your property. Everyone should be entitled to a house. That sounds not very capitalist. It sounds kind of socialist, if not communist. Just saying, for a very capitalist president, that is not a capitalist statement. I'm not even necessarily opposed to this. But I'm just the messenger. I'm literally just reading the words on the screen. Okay. I'm just reading the words. That's it. I'm not even sharing a strong opinion. That's just what the words say. That's very interesting. What else we got? Is there anything else here? Do I want? Nah. It's like it's interesting. It's interesting, but I think that's probably it. Let's do a quick scroll of the timeline to see if there's anything interesting going on the timeline. Okay. Yeah, that's brutal. Oh my God. And they're buying $200 billion in mortgage bonds. He wants to bring the rates down. Okay, you know what? This is the most important thing, in my opinion, that Trump can do. If he can make more young people, able just open up the availability somehow by whether that's driving rates down or doing things like, for example, banning the institutions from buying single family homes. If he's able to increase the opportunity for individuals like myself to buy a home, that is gonna that will help the voter base. That is one of those things. It's like you hear right now, there's a lot of conversation, especially on the right and right interested individuals, where they're like, well, I may have voted for the Republicans. I may have voted for Trump, but like, what is he actually doing for me? Like, how is he making my life better? And especially when you have all the other stuff that's going on with ICE, like people are very upset. So what is Trump and what is the Republican right doing to make people happy and like actually improve people's lives? If this actually makes homes available for people to be, to buy, there's something that might be there. This is very interesting. And this is probably the single most important thing to watch in this, 2026. If you want to grade Trump on anything, it might be this. It really might be this. How can he get that first home buyer age down from in the 40s, which is ridiculous, down into the 30s? And hopefully at some point, if we can get like 29, maybe we're never getting there again. Maybe the first time home buyer is never going to get into the averages of the 20s. Maybe that's never happening again. But if we can get to the low 30s, that's going to be healthier than where we're at now because it's just getting a little ridiculous. This is definitely Trump's most important, whatever he's doing for the next, like you've got international politics. Yes, for sure. You have immigration for sure. That's important. And there's a whole crisis going on with that right now. But in my opinion, the most important thing that he can impact individual Americans is what are we doing with housing? It's got to be more livable for people to just get a house and raise a family. Very interesting. Let's see. Anything else here? Oh, I got to say this.
Numbers 36,000.
So everyone's talking about how Frank D. Gods made this. He basically vibe coded this app that it checks how much you're spending a year in subscriptions and then just cancels them for you.
We ran the numbers, $36,560 a year.
How do you not realize you're spending $36,000 a year in subscriptions? How does that just happen? I know I'm spending in the thousands of dollars a year on subscriptions for sure, right? Like I'm subscribed to, let's say, Netflix. I've got like Netflix, Raya. Oh my gosh. Like food stuff, whatever. Like there's a whole bunch of subscriptions, but $36,000 a year on subscriptions. Dude, subscriptions have gone way too far. It's insidious. How do you not realize you're spending that much?
Year, which honestly doesn't. I mean, yeah, this is a mortgage. This is a mortgage. This is rent. This is insane. Disgusting. I showed this to my mom and she was borderline insulted.
He subscribed to Coinbase. Why are you subscribed to Coinbase? He subscribed to the New York Times. Thread guy. Your news is coming from the New York Times. Thread guy.
With what this number looks like, I'm just gonna be honest. In the last 12 months, I've used Canva 0 times.
And that is how it goes with subscriptions. And that's why I'm probably going to run it. I'm probably going to use Frank's vibe coded app. I'll check how much I'm spending a year, but people are spending way more than they realize. It's a little ridiculous. We'll do another 5 minutes of scroll and see if there's anything else here. I didn't even know how much time had passed on the stream. Thanks, Schwad. Thank you. That's very appreciated, dude. That is actually very appreciated. Well, that's kind of you. Also, yeah, I'll just say the Proton VPN sessions originating in Iran are dipping, confirming the infrastructure is being shut down. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on in Iran, so I'm not going to comment on it too strongly. Or I'm not going to try and make a clip around it, but something's going on there. Something is going on there. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to comment on. Let me see if I can find just a good tweet on it. Let's see. It's about Arc Raiders. I have to comment on this. Hold on. Let me find a good tweet about it. Player count. Arc Raiders player count. Let me get a graph. Let's see a graph. Okay. So Arc Raiders reached a record 3.2 million players the other day. Okay. Like, this is a game that is just not stopping. This game came out in late October. It was in development for a while. I think it was in beta for a while. And I have to tell you guys about this game because if you guys aren't paying attention to Arc Raiders, you will hear about it very soon. Okay. This game is absolutely blown up. And what happens, right? You had like the PAL Worlds PAL Worlds of the world. You have other games that regularly come into the news cycle. They show up for 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks even, and then just kind of disappeared. Like, no one plays them after that. They had a great time, but the replayability value is super low. Arc Raiders is just growing. There's something about this game. I tried it the other day. It is actually surprisingly and shockingly fun. It is a good game with very good replayability value. There's something here. Not many games capture the attention of the masses in this way. If there was another game that could compete with Fortnite in terms of scale that has come out, like, this is it. The Arc Raiders has the best chance of any game, period, to compete with the scale that Fortnite has. It's just, it's there. I have an opinion. I think Arc Raiders will probably be around in at least 5 years, if not 10 years. And I think people are going to be playing this game in 5-10 years. And it actually kind of frustrates me that I can't do things like buy a bunch of Counter-Strike skins, you know? I just can't go out and just start spending. I want to spend 10 grand on this game in assets that in 5-10 years are going to be worth $500,000 because I think that's what's going to happen. I think that this game is going to continue to be played for the next 5-10 years. It's going to continue to grow. They're gonna put together the Fortnite playbook, and they're gonna run it. And I think it works. This game is innately incredibly social. Like, it's unbelievably social. A lot of people who are playing it are saying it's the best game that they've ever played. And I'll be honest with you, I've tried it. It's great. I think, like, there is something happening here with Arc Raiders that you're going to see this game on your timeline. You're going to see it everywhere for probably the next 5 to 10 years. And it really is just, it's like kind of sad to me that I don't get to buy into it. Like, there are tokens in the game, man. There are tokens in the game. You've got, like, you know, how they have the V-Bucks. It would be so awesome. It would be so awesome if there was a crypto component to this game, because I would love to just buy into it. I would love to buy skins, for example. If they had Counter-Strike skins, if they had that same system in Arc Raiders, if they had an active marketplace, I would be buying it. I would 100% be buying into whatever that is. I would love if there was a thriving economy that I could just buy into, because if I could spend 10 grand on Arc Raiders today, I feel very confident that that is a $500,000 investment. Given enough years, 3-4 years down the line, that this game is just going to go out of its mind in terms of popularity. Because it's just good. It's better than Among Us. It has replayability that completely outclasses Among Us, but it's in that same vein of that social game that people actually like to play. So there's something happening with Arc Raiders, and if you're not paying attention, it is going to be on your feed for years to come. So you might as well learn about what's happening here. All right, I think that's probably good for today. I think that's probably basically everything I think we should go through, I think we'll probably call it there. Yeah. We're going to be back. We're going to be back on Sunday. We got lots to do, guys. We got lots to do. If you guys want to see me play Arc Raiders on stream, I'll try and get Jonah on. Like, a bunch of my friends in crypto play Arc. So, and I think it would be an interesting idea. Like, one thing I want to brainstorm and talk about, and Chris, the producer, is listening in right now. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see. I would love to, like, run one of these streams where I talk about crypto, talk about these problems, but do so in Arc. I don't know. Maybe there's something there, especially because it's like an innately heavily chat-based game. There's something there. Anyway, we're gonna call it for today. You guys have a great rest of your day. We're gonna be back on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. You know the deal. You know the deal, chat. Oh wow, dude, I start school again on Monday. Whoa. Last semester coming up, boys. Last semester. All right, we're gonna call it. My mom just reposted the stream. Took you long enough, Mom. Took you long enough. All right, guys. Enjoy your night. We'll talk soon. Peace.